Alright. Just want to switch gears here a little bit. I've been in New York practically all my life. The winters here in New York are either very fucking brutal, like where you have like temps down into the teens, right? Like, you know, very fucking cold, and the snow just keeps on coming and coming and just will not stop. Other times, it can be mild. It can be like a mild winter. Like, you know, like not too much snow, but it's cold, right? It's cold enough to have on like a winter jacket and shit like that. Yeah. So we either have very cold, brutal winters where the snow just comes and comes and comes and just will not stop, right? It gets way down the fucking cold, right? And we're like, other times it can be mild, like a mild winter, and not too much snow, and it's just cold, but like not any snow, whatever, just cold. This can happen anywhere from October, November, December, January, February, March-ish. Maybe April, I don't know. Now, the springtime is March, April, May-ish. Springtime is kind of neutral. The summers here in the East Coast they can get anywhere from the 70s to the 90s, right? It's not like hot like Florida hot. It's not hot like Texas hot. It's not hot like Nevada, California, Arizona, Seattle, whatever, out in the West Coast. Like my Nintendo shirt. But yeah, it can go anywhere that during the summer. It can go anywhere from like the 70s into the 90s. I've heard people in Florida where it gets to like above 90, and it's brutal down there. It is fucking humid, where you don't want to go outside. It's brutal. It's like, you know, above 90 degrees. Yeah. So, for anyone who's watching like either in the West Coast or here in the East Coast, or maybe you're watching, I don't know. I've had a couple of friends who are like in Upper Uncton, Lower Uncton, where they kill people or some shit back in the 1800s or some shit. I don't know. I have friends who watch my videos from like the West Coast, or they're like in Nevada, they're in Seattle, they're in Texas somewhere, or I have friends like in Upper Maine, or I have friends in like the armpit of America, New Jersey. But yeah, when it gets cold here, I mean, the fall here is kind of. Sometimes it's warm in the fall. Sometimes it's warm like 70s, 80s, or it could be 60s and 70s. The changing of the leaves, it's kind of pretty. You're going down the road, instead of seeing green everywhere, you see like green, orange, red, brown, shit like that. The walkway over the Hudson, that's a nice place to be on a nice fall day. Cold, but yeah. I've seen some winters here where we've had like snow on like Halloween. Snow on Halloween, that's just, sometimes it was mild, other times it was just fucking brutal, like it just, big heavy snow, and, like icicles hang on power lines, and when an icicle hangs in a fucking power line, power lines are all, and it starts to like sag and come down and, yeah. The winters, again, can be brutal, where it's freaking cold and snowy and cold on days, and it snows and you just don't want to go outside of your house or whatever. Or we can have a mild winter, where it's cold, but there's no snow on the ground, right? It can be cold, but no snow. The fall here in the East Coast is rather nice, it can be like, 70s or 80s fall weather, or it can be 60s and 70s fall weather. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that real quick. Come on, don't fall. But yeah, fall weather can be iffy. We can either have a warm fall or a nice cool fall where it's like, 60s, 70s, and you go out and, you see nice fall weather, the foliage, blah, blah, blah. You see like, the sun sets, earlier. The summers, wow. The summer is like, I don't know, May, June. Starting of summer, May, June, somewhere around there. May, June, July, August. September's kind of warm. September's kind of warmish. 70s. I was seeing September where it's 60s and 70s. October, November. I thought they were going to do away with the whole time change. I heard this shit a few years ago, right? Where like, there are some states that don't do the whole time difference change. They don't set the clocks back or forward or whatever. Some states don't, do the whole setting of the clock, spring ahead, fall back, spring ahead, fall back. There are some states that don't do that. I just don't know. Some states just do not have the setting of the clocks where you spring ahead, fall back, spring ahead. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, during the fall here in New York, it's kind of cool, kind of pretty. Yeah, I've seen fall weather when it's either 70s, 80s, or it's 60s and 70s. Wintertime is like, like, what was I saying? Like the whole clock change. November 1st. It's either November 1st, 2nd, some shit like that. Where here in the East Coast, you have to fall back. In the summer, in the spring, it's spring ahead. Then we're gonna fall back. I thought they were gonna do away with that whole time shit. I thought they were gonna do away with that. But yeah, wintertime, it can like I said, at wintertime you can either have a mild winter where it's cold but not snowing, but it's like, brutally cold and it's not snowing, or you can have a really, really, really bad winter, with icicles hanging on the power lines and the trees, and they fall down like missiles, man. I have seen that shit. With the icicles on the trees and power lines and whatever, they just get really big and they just fall down to the ground like a fucking missile. Yeah, you do not want to be standing under one of those missiles. You look up in the trees and the power lines, or sometimes they're on the roofs of buildings, whatever, and you hear them cracking and like, oh, you better run out of what. They're like cracking about ready to fall. They come down like a fucking missile. But during the cold weather, like I said, we can either have it cold, where you have to put on like, sweaters and jackets and gloves, whatever, but there's no snow. Or you have a brutal winter, a very fucking brutal where it's like, where if you like open your door, man, you just don't want to go outside, right? You want to crank up the fucking heat. You want to throw a couple logs in the fireplace, Maybe you want to like, get the, whatever they call the, electric heaters. They're like very round, and maybe they're gas. You put gas in whatever or some shit, and you start up and it produces a lot of heat. Right? Those things, you've seen them. They usually carry them in like Harbor Freight, like around like when it gets like September, October. The big round thingies with wheels on them. They're either you plug into a wall or you put gas into it and you start it up, and those things produce a lot of heat. Those things produce big heat, right? They're like very round, like a round. Yeah. Fortunately, I can't have one here. But yeah. Where the winters are like, where it's snowing and snowing and snowing and it just will not stop. The roads are bad, right? Let's say it's nice out one day, right? And then you hear on the weather channel, snow is coming. It's gonna start snowing at like maybe like 7 or 8 in the morning, and it won't stop until like maybe like 11 at night, right? Maybe you might have a break here and there around maybe like noontime or 3 or whatever. But yeah, when the weatherman says that the snow is coming, and that's when it's time to go to the fucking store, get as much shit as you fucking can, all your fucking groceries, bread, beer, I don't know, fucking whatever it is you like, right? Go to the grocery store, get all your fucking shit, and then you just settle in until the next fucking day where it's just snowing or whatever. Of course you want to go outside and, you know, and just, you know, clear off maybe your deck or the steps or whatever, right? You don't want to have it like snow, like here's your deck, right? Like say here's your deck, right? You got your lawn chairs and whatever on there, right? And the snow just keeps on piling up, piling up. How high is it gonna get? But yeah, you generally want to clear off your front steps, your back steps, whatever, you know, just to, you know, go outside in your driveway and clear off your car so the plow can get through and, you know, shit like that. But yeah, this is for anybody who's watching either on the West Coast or on the East Coast, or I have a couple of friends in Canada, I have a couple of friends on the West Coast, I have one or two friends over in fucking Europe. But yeah, in general, during the summertime, spring and summer, it's brutal. Like, you know, it's like fucking hot out, right? Not like hot like, you know, Florida or Texas or Arizona, Nevada, California hot, right? Where I've seen where it gets hot in California, they have fires out there during the summertime, right? California fires, you know that shit, right? California fires. I've seen that shit on the news. All over Facebook and blah blah blah. California's having another fire because it's, you know, 102 out or some shit. Florida doesn't get any fires, they get like tornadoes. Hurricanes, tornadoes, blah blah blah. But yeah, during the summertime here in the East Coast, it gets like, you know, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Sometimes it can be humid, sometimes not. I have a few friends down over in Florida, and they say, oh, that when it gets hot out down in Florida, it gets brutal down there. Fucking brutal. The humidity is just, you don't want to, humidity is hot, you know, it's just fucking nasty out. You want to get home and you want to crank on your fucking AC. You got an AC over here, you got an AC over there, you just turn those bitches on, right? The winter time, like I said, you know, this video is for anybody who hasn't experienced the East Coast or whatever, right? I'm just saying, this video is for the, like, a general weather, you know, I'm not doing like a weather report, blah blah blah, or maybe this is, or whatever. I'm just saying, this is for a video for anyone who hasn't really experienced what it's like when it's cold out or when it's brutally fucking hot out. It can be brutally fucking cold, where it's like, you know, snowing on end and it never fucking stops. Right, and you see, like, you're going down the road or something, whatever, or maybe on the trees, on the rooftops of houses, you see icicles start to form, and when those things start to like crackle and they break off, they come down like a fucking missile, and you better pray you are not standing under one of those fucking missiles, because guess what? It happens. It happens, man. It happens. standing under a fucking missile and they fucking hit you, you will be either in serious fucking pain, or they can fucking kill you. One of those big icicles falls from a tree or a power line or like a rooftop from a house or a building or whatever, and if you're standing under it and you don't know that it's there and it comes down and hits you, either you're gonna die or you're gonna be in serious injury. I'm just saying. So we can either have brutal winters where it's cold out, where it just snows and snows, and the roads are bad or whatever, you know, give the crew to be out there and clean the roads, whatever. Or you can have a brutal winter where it's not snowing, but it's just cold out, right? Where it's just not snowing, but it's just cold. With the summers, you know, spring is like, you know, like what, April, May, some shit like that. And then we have the summers. The summers can be hot, but not like, you know, Florida hot, Arizona, Nevada, California, whatever. It's just hot. We get like 70s, 80s, and 90s. I don't think we've ever reached 100. I don't. Maybe Jersey has reached 100 because like around the beaches areas, maybe they've reached maybe like 100 at one point or another. I don't know. I haven't really been to a beach or ocean in quite some time, so I don't know. But yeah, the winters can be brutal, and the summers here can be brutal. And again, this video is for anyone who hasn't experienced a hot season or a cold season. Again, this video isn't like a general video for anyone who hasn't experienced a cold season or a hot season. Just saying. Just saying. Alright.